representing an emerging movement called 50+20. We are a group of people who, all in our own ways, care for making a difference, to work towards a society in which 7, 8, and eventually 9 billion of people will live well and within the limits of the planet together. We presume that you are also concerned with the state of the world right now, and that you realize that things cannot continue as they are. Now, what do we do about it? We believe that if everybody of us, you, us, work together to make sure that each of us, in whatever role we play, we contribute as fully as we can in the roles that we play to constructing such a world, we will actually get there. A world where 9 billion people live well and within the limits of the planet means a world in which we live in a different kind of society, and in which business plays a different role than it does today. It is a society where business contributes to this game, to this aim, and contributes to the well-being for all of us. As business educators and management educators, we believe that business needs different leaders than we have developed so far. And from our side, to assume our space, to do the best we can, we believe that we need to go differently about developing such leaders. Now, what does that mean? We have basically reframed the role of business and management education differently than in the past. Rather than simply saying we need to do the best we can in education and in research, we said, well, let's take a step back and let's think, what is actually our contribution to this society? And what we've come up with is to say, well, there are 3 things that we believe is important. One of them is to develop globally responsible leaders. And that has 2 components. One of them is to develop, to educate the 99% of the citizens that are there and who would like, in an organized way, in an entrepreneurial way, contribute to this development. And secondly, it is to transform the existing 1% of global citizens who are currently in power and who haven't been able to assure that we live in such a society. So education for us has an educational aspect of development and a transformational aspect to it. Secondly, we believe our role is to enable businesses to transform itself, to contribute to the global good. And that is a challenge that we believe has 2 elements again. One of them is to make sure that we provide effective ways to accompany leaders at their various stages through their career in their personal and professional leadership development. That can be done in many different ways. An executive monastery, for example, could be a very appropriate new way of doing that. Creating an environment where leaders, students, research, and stakeholders can meet to discuss issues could be another one. Thirdly, we believe that it should also be our role to contribute to the public debates of how to transform the current economic system. We should help shape the public agenda. And that again has a couple of different dimensions. One of them is that so far in business and management education, we made this great difference between having academics on one side and practitioners on the other. We believe in order to work effectively together, we need to open that border. We need that border to disappear. And the other aspect of that is we as business educators need to play a greater role in redefining again what it means to be a public intellectual and to take part of the public debate. Transformative learning for leaders is critical. We also believe that transforming learning around issues rather than disciplines or function is another critical aspect of that. And to come back to the way to enable companies to start contributing to the societal good, we have come up with this probably most clearest picture of what a future business or management school could and should look like. And that is a collaboratory. Basically a place for citizens, concerned citizens, to meet in a circle around issues that concern society, both local but also on a global scale. That could be environmental issues, economic issues, or of course societal issues. Such issues such as water scarcity, climate change, migration, hunger, energy shortage, and so forth. Now let me talk a little bit more about what such a collaborative or such a place of co-creation would look like. It is a place where we, with stakeholders, meet and create a powerful and safe learning environment for all of us to discuss and address and resolve these societal issues. Imagine a space where students, business professionals, NGOs, activists, faculty research and educators, where the concerned citizen, the parent, the entrepreneur, the environmentalist meet all with that one shared objective of resolving these issues. This is actually a place where research and education meet. It is an action learning environment or an action research environment. This means for research that rather than looking at past and current issues and try to derive valuable lessons from these, we need to adapt the research methodologies to support future-oriented approaches to alternative solutions to resolve these issues. The role of the researcher in there would be mainly to come up with appropriate research methodologies to assure that the rigor that is needed in order to make sure that these alternative solutions are actually relevant and that the unintended consequences are understood or at least observed, are actually in the benefit of what we want. And that's quite a challenge, it's quite a new challenge, because one of the things is clear. If we tuck on one leaf, on one part of the universe, we actually don't know what are the consequences in some other part. We need to make sure that we really understand that resolving an issue involves a systemic approach, a systemic thinking. And only a transdisciplinary approach can do that. What does that mean? That is an approach where we not only stay among our disciplines or functions, we need to involve business, management, but also societal members. We need to look at natural sciences, at social sciences. We need to understand when we look at climate change what the geologists have to say, what the psychologists have to say, what the environmentalists have to say, and not just look at what are the business best practices in order to come up with effective measures to address CO2 emission, for example. So this requires an entirely different ability for a leader. And who is a leader? A leader is all of us. We as business educators need to be able to walk that talk just as much as any of the leaders that we want to educate. And we should create a structure that supports these three elements of the vision. We should measure the contribution of faculty, of educators, of researchers, but also of deans and directors and of the staff in terms of saying, how do you contribute to these three goals? These three goals again being educating globally responsible leaders, enabling business to serve the common good, and shaping the agenda, the public agenda, to transform the economic system. How do we, each of us, contribute to that? Now that has great demands on all of us. And an essential part of that is that we all feel as part of one, that we all realize that every one of us is interconnected in creating this society that we're all striving to. And we believe we can only achieve that if we bring together people around a table, a space, a fire, a whatever is appropriate, in a circle to make sure that we look at an issue that concerns us all. That enables a future leader to develop what we believe a fundamentally different ingoing attitude to his job. We call it reflective awareness, the ability to reflect on how the leader relates to himself and to the people around him and to the larger environment, to nature. How to involve his heart, his brain, his hands, his soul. We believe we can make that happen by transforming a classroom environment into a powerful and safe learning environment where we look at transformative learning, where we teach relevant business and management knowledge around issues in an applied way through fieldwork, in collaboration with the emerging and developing societies in order to get there together. Now, this also means the ability to hold tension. The tension to know that we can no longer develop a 5-year plan that we can then follow through, but to know that all we can do is to try and identify an issue with the next step that we believe leads in the same direction. To then have the courage to act, to do. After that, to stop, to look, to reflect, and that's where research comes in. Help us evaluate, are we actually moving in the right direction? And to then decide to adjust, probably to set up new research parameters to accompany the next step, and then to have the courage to make the next step in the next best direction, and so forth. This is what we believe future leaders need to do, and we believe all of us, whether you are an artist, an entrepreneur, a policymaker, a business executive, a teacher, a mother, a musician, a filmmaker, somebody in an emerging country who would like to enhance his well-being of him and his family and his community in the right way, but is missing currently the tools. All of us, if together we work rather on issues rather than simply defending our own interests, therefore considering that we are not part of all, we believe we can get there by working together in a collaborative process of co-creation. That we believe is what at the very heart of the future of business and management education. That state, that space to us is about holding a space where learning can happen, where action can happen, where relevant research supports this action, and where we together as stakeholders involved in creating that future together each assume the responsibility we have towards that better world that we all work for and would like to contribute to. 50+20 is a project that is created and supported by GRLI, the World Business School Council of Sustainable Business, and Prime. Thank you.